the young man suddenly rushed into the bus driver's cab. He grabbed the steering wheel in one swift move and drove the bus straight into the river. It turned out that just 10 minutes earlier, while on his way to work, the young man noticed something was wrong with the bus. He glanced at the bus and realized it had been hijacked by a group of gangsters. As a retired special forces soldier, he decided to launch a rescue, so he chased closely behind the bus. When he reached an overpass, he quickly stopped his car and ran onto the overpass. Then he seized the right moment and jumped from the overpass onto the bus roof. The gangsters inside the bus noticed something unusual on the roof, so one of them was sent to check the roof. Seeing someone climbing up, the young man immediately stepped forward and kicked the gangster's weapon away. Then the two engaged in a fight on the bus roof. With a flying kick, the young man kicked the gangster off the roof. The gangster's accomplices inside the bus saw that the situation was bad and prepared to shoot at the roof. At that moment, the young man jumped into the bus through the sunroof. Taking the gangsters by surprise, he kicked over the one in front. Before long, several gangsters were subdued by him. Unexpectedly, the gang leader held the driver hostage. Seeing special police intercepting ahead, the driver slammed on the brakes. The strong inertia knocked the gangster unconscious. The young man hurriedly urged the passengers to get off the bus quickly. Just as everyone thought they were safe, the gangster on the bus suddenly woke up. He held a grenade and took a passenger who hadn't had time to escape hostage. The young man reacted quickly, rushed forward directly, and grabbed the gangster's wrist to buy time for the passenger to escape. At that moment, the gang leader also woke up. Sensing that something was wrong on the bus, she immediately started the bus and sharply turned the steering wheel. The young man was almost thrown out of the bus. Fortunately, he reacted quickly enough and grabbed the door handle. However, the bad news was that downtown was just ahead. If the grenade exploded, the consequences would be unimaginable. He had to stop all this, so he used all his strength to get back into the bus and grapple with the gangsters. Suddenly, the grenade in the gangster's hand fell out and was about to explode. It was the peak hour when schools were letting out. To minimize casualties, he rushed into the driver's cab and grabbed the steering wheel. Then he sharply turned the steering wheel and drove the bus into the river. In the end, he resolved the crisis with his heroic act.